So really, the app is a Twitter simple thing. In fact, some people look for it. If they just say, "Oh, come here," and bring a player over and say, "Here, look at this. What do you think?" And they usually say, "I don't know. It doesn't look like that much." It's not. Like we said at the beginning, you've got that 1/3 of a second, and that's all we're seeing, that over and over and over and over again with instant feedback. You guess the pitch type, bam, here's your feedback. You get a score up here on how you're doing. And so, that's where you're building it very much like a muscle. And then we try and turn it into a system. So it's not just that app by itself, but, you've got a whole bunch of pitchers in there. These are all minor league pitchers who are in there right now. We'll get to later having more of the youth model for like age 15 or whatever. But for advanced travel guys, for college guys, and for minor leaguers or people who are looking that way, these guys are pretty good models for them. This guy's hard. I can't get him. This Adam is the one that you'll get if you sign up for the free trial. You can go ahead and take your shot at him. He's a pretty typical, maybe not even a Friday starter, maybe kind of a typical Saturday type of guy. And for the teams that really get involved with it, they can put some of their own video on there, whether it's their own guys or opponents that they shoot video of. And then there's kind of a report, and this looks like a lot of data, but what, you didn't get a chance to get this. You had to do it all on your own by hand.
Right.
But basically, we did a lot of taking.
Takes a little bit of time.
Takes a little bit of time, but we're taking that time away from you. Now it takes the time to push a button. You think you'd push that button?
I appreciate it.
Here's a guy, Ace. Not like your Acer. Dylan's what, 2-year-old now? Is he about 2? But so here's the player, and you can see he went against that Adam. Here's the difficulty rating for Adam, and here was his score against the team average, and what time of day. So you can see he came in on a Friday about 8 o'clock at night, 8:42 at night, and he did a couple of drills before going on to Friday night activities. You can see he did that pretty well. He went on to the advanced one, which has got a higher difficulty level, and he also took a shot, probably the last thing he did, at the curveball drill. Coach may have said, hey, make sure you try the curveball drill. Maybe he's struggling with that a little bit. He just took one shot at that. Then you see him picking up, like he comes back on Wednesday and has another session with that curveball. And then he spends his whole session on one pitcher. It's Kyle. This Kyle is a pretty tough pitcher. In fact, the guy who's the model for that signed away from the Frontier League to the Dodgers organization about a month ago. So you can see, he's got a little higher difficulty rating. Here's the guy working on him. And so the coach looks at this, and you can see that your guy's staying after him. He's staying, he's going to master it. He gets up to the advanced. He hasn't really kicked it yet, but it's showing some good determination out of him. And about the right length drill. It looks like about, what was he on there for, about 10 minutes. That's what we recommend. 10 minutes a couple times a week with the other kind of stuff that you're working, and non-contact time. Right, so for college guys, that's obviously pretty important. One of the things I particularly like, Dylan, and kind of following this along, was seeing how it would evolve your communication with the players. So maybe that's where you can make some parting comments.
Yeah, I was able to do more than just say stop swinging at the breaking ball in the dirt. I could actually have an elevated conversation with these guys, and it started with the video where I would run through and do all the drills and go through every different pitcher and all the different types of training they have on the app, and then I would have the guys do it, and then we could sit there and have conversations, especially if a guy was struggling with a specific pitcher or a specific pitch combination. I knew that guy's slider was tough to see as well. And so we could talk about it, and we could have these conversations that touched on our hitting plan and situational hitting and all of this type of stuff, two-strike hitting. There's no other way that we can have a conversation in which we both competed against the same guy. And so it's a pretty unique situation that this offers for us to be able to talk about it, mine from a first-hand account, his from a first-hand account, and then us kind of collaborating from there. They might strike out, they might have gotten fooled, and they come back, and instead of throwing their helmets, they're just telling everybody what they just saw. So hey, be ready. Like his curveball does this. It's like the guy that we've seen in the video, just like that. So being prepared and having these experiences to kind of relate to it, and then that turned into being better at stealing bases because we were better at recognizing patterns. And the pitcher does this when he goes home, and he does this when he comes to the plate. Um, it had a lot more reach than we ever could have imagined. We complain about the student of the game being lost, and this really helped recreate it because you started teaching the game in such a detailed way that it opened up these time and opportunities to have these higher level conversations, these more detailed conversations, which a lot of the coaches get excited about.
Yeah, well, one of the questions is, as with the camera angles that are used, and there's a whole bunch of questions about this. And so, Sharp, what I'll do is I'm going to reference you to the GameSense website, and I don't know exactly where you kind of got to poke around for a little bit, but we have an FAQ, a frequently asked questions, and so things like, why do you use the camera angle that you're doing, and you'll see some pitchers who are flipped. So this Adam, for instance, if you're a left-handed hitter, or if you're a right-handed hitter and you go in and you'll choose the right-handed batter's box view, he's going to be a left-handed pitcher. So some things like that. There are a lot of little oddities, and the FAQs explain it pretty well, and trying it yourself is good. And really the best way to do that is for like teams or facilities, travel coaches, whatever, who are considering bringing this in at kind of that premium level, is to get the app open, get that 30-day trial, get it open, and then get me on the phone. And we'll talk right through that thing on the phone, and that's how you get to understanding it. It's something that's evolved. I've been doing this for 15 years. Some of it is non-obvious. For instance, the GoPro on the helmet is what we think of first, and it's not a good view. If we get that and show it to hitters, it doesn't seem right to them. And so, like, when you look at this, a lot of times you'll see a little bit of the catcher in the shot. And there are some things that the eyes and the brain are a real magical thing, but they're hard to order around. And if we have to give the brain just a little bit of context, a little frame, and then it makes the picture. It's not that we're giving them this picture; they kind of make it with that. That gets a little exotic. So the best thing is to go poke around with it, check the FAQs, open it up. Let's get on the phone. Coach, we promised we were going to get you out of here before an hour. I know you've got some recruits coming.
Yeah, well, got to do another part of the job.
There are many parts, aren't there? So we really thank you for spending the time with us and sharing, what's been something you've really become a part of your coaching approach. And really, it's because you went out there and found it. You made it happen, man.